Hey folks, Papa Boris here, playing some more Altered TCG. Yes, that's right. It's back on Board Game Arena. Highly recommend that you check it out. I guess we'll do another game with each of the 6 starter decks. Let's go ahead and start with Axiom, the smart people, and see what we can do. Also, I saw on Reddit that the decks are different. I am honestly not sure about that, but we'll find out, of course. We got the usual thing, floating error from the tooltips. And let's pick our opening hand. Okay, I don't know what the hell this is, but I'm not going to save a 6-drop, cool as that might be. This thing is... I mean, this is definitely good. I just have a hard time evaluating it, and I don't want to save it for turn 4, so we'll leave that alone. Oh, and it's this thing again. Okay, so great. We'll keep a 1-drop, a 3-drop, and a 2-drop, and move on. So what is this? If you control 2 or more landmarks, get a boost. Oh, crap. Well, that's not going to happen. Maybe I should have kept a landmark just in case I ended up, having... Let's say you have, like, nothing to do because your opponent's just, like, whomping you. That's, like, a good time to put down a landmark. Yeah, maybe I should have. I just didn't even look at what the text of this was, but it turns out I'm not going to get any benefits. And a 3/3/3/4/3 is pretty bad. It commits just about all your mana. It's not overstated. I mean, obviously, if you're not getting the benefit, it's pretty embarrassing. So, do I play it on turn 1 is the question, hoping I can just sneak out, value from it. This thing is interesting. It's a 1/1/1 for 1. It costs more to play it from reserve, but it also does a resupply. God, these are kind of crappy cards. Okay, well, we'll just chuck down the 3 little pigs. See what my opponent wants to do. So I'm playing essentially with my hand face up here because they know I'm not going to be able to do anything else this turn. Oh, right, I totally forgot. My hero power makes the bugs. Yes, I should have kept one of the landmarks. I should have kept one of the 4-cost landmarks and gotten a bug out of it. Ah, my opponent decided to play a 4/4/4 for 3. Okie doke. That's not good. So my opponent is going to move. I'm not going to move. And now, yeah, this is just, it's just strictly better. It's just strictly better. Well, it's not strictly better because obviously I got this thing. But, I'd rather have a 4/4/4. Yeah, no, this is terrible. This is a 4/4/4 for 3, just like this is, only this is already a 4/4/4 with an ability from reserve, and it's unconditional. So, yeah, this definitely sucks. Okay, we got a landmark. This is the one that you get brass bugs. And I do have a 1-drop here, so we'll keep that. This is activate the triggers of target permanent you control. So one reason I may want to keep this is that this would allow me to increase the number of Keylon counters on this thing, whereas the Frog Prince, well, it does make a landmark cheaper. Okay, we're going to get rid of it. There was merit to the Frog Prince because it's a 3 forest, 3 lake. I could have tried to stop my opponent from moving here, but they've got their every other turn token thing, so yeah, it wasn't really going to be that great. Okay, I think we're just going to have a bad time. Oh god, this is bad. This thing doesn't even do anything against either of my opponent's lanes. So I could play this for future value and just fall like perilously far behind, or I could play this and hope my opponent doesn't have a 1-drop. But if my opponent does have a 1-drop and blocks me in this lane, it's just going to be a disaster. Okay, we are doing it. We're going to play this landmark, and I'm probably just not even going to play anything else. Oh, right, we got the brass bug. I totally forgot about the brass bug. Okay, so I will go ahead and put the brass bug here. I still have to hope my opponent doesn't have a 1-drop. This deck does have a... There it is. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, I'm still going to play my 1-drop here, and the reason is that this way I stop my opponent from moving. So unfortunately, I don't get to move, but at least I stop my opponent from moving. My opponent does have, 2 moves ahead of me. I have this thing, which I can eventually recharge with this, but it's, it's going to be a long road here. A very long, potentially dark road to try to, I need to pass, to try to get anywhere. So I got a little bit of, advantage, but my opponent gets a friggin' 2/2/2 for free every other round. So I'm in a little bit of trouble. My opponent also doing a good job managing card advantage. I've noticed since it's been back on Board Game Arena, people are playing smarter. They're not just throwing away mounds of cards. The hell? Okay, so you tap this, pay an energy, and you draw a card? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, jeez. That's got to be a terrible idea, right? When I'm already this far behind. I mean, I get a brass bug out of it. And then I can't play anything else. No, I'm going to pitch this. Yeah, we just need cards to play. That's what we need. So this turn, I could just play a 3/3/3, which is as terrible as that is, and like a 2/2 from the hand. So oh no, right, I can't. I gotta pay. Oh no, it's not paying energy. It is paying energy and a Keylon counter to get a brass bug. Okay, so I have 4 mana to work with, which means I really want to play this and this. That is gonna waste a card because I'm gonna resupply and it's gonna fill up my reserve when these two go into the resupply. So yeah, it sucks. But I guess what I'm gonna do here is just split it. We'll go like this. And then see what my opponent wants to try to do. They do have this, which is a 3/3/3 for 3, kind of like mine. Only this thing can drop down for as a 1/1/1 first. We'll see if my opponent wants to do that. If they are going to do that, it's probably not going to be their first play. They'll probably play something else for 1 or for 2 from hand, and then decide where to put this after I've committed more of my board. Right now, they can put this in either lane and win it. It would just cost 60% of their mana. One thing I'm curious about is whether I can pitch this in order to use it before my reserve has to be deleted. It's a question of whether you can use these abilities during the cleanup phase or not. I would guess you probably can't, but you never know. Hope springs eternal. I really would honestly just prefer this if it only cost 1. I don't know why this needs to cost 2 and still have shitty stats. Oh wow, interesting. My opponent decided to commit their mana. Well, okay. I guess what I'm going to do here is kind of the dumb move. I'm going to just bring this thing out. And then I will... it's another one of them. Terrible. Well, I don't mind throwing it away, so I guess that's fine. If I do end up having to throw something out of reserve, I'll throw that one away. So this way my opponent can just play another cheap card here and win this lane and let me win this lane. Theoretically, they could, like, let's say they had like 2 of their Ratatuskers, their 1/1/1s. They could play one here, win this, and then play one here and win this because... Oh no, they don't win this because they need desert to move. So they could beat me in water with a 1/1/1, but the water doesn't move them. I'd be shocked if my opponent doesn't just have anything to put here. Yeah, so they put a thing in. This is actually a really good one for them because it comes back later with a massive 5/3/3 for 4. So they're gonna get a huge bit of value later. So now we each move 1, which is not great for me because I'm already 2 behind, as you can see very clearly here. Now let's see, can I get rid of this? Will it let me do this? No, you cannot do that. So I'm gonna have to throw away this. And then I will also pitch this to get my Keylon counters back. Maybe I should have thrown away these pigs. I don't know. Creative? Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to play this turn. Stupid as that is, we're just going to do it. And I either got to get rid of this garbage. I'm actually going to get rid of this. So I'm going to have 6 mana, but I need to spend 1 of it to make a brass bug. So I got to get rid of this. If I had full 6 mana to work with, I actually probably would have gotten rid of Amelia here. Because you want her dropping into supply. You don't really want to play a 2/2/2 for 3 for the promise of getting a 2/2/2 for 1 later. Like, it's not even that amazing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be dumb. We're just going to put the brass bug here and contest their Buddha. And then I think I will play this and just hope for the best. I'll get a thing from my hero, and I will also get another 2/2/2, so I will definitely be behind this turn. But my opponent, you know, maybe they just spend a bunch of mana to drop this in somewhere, and then they get 1 lane. Yeah, they like to just commit first, which is not always the best move. In fact, on this desert thing, I could tie them. I'm glad they didn't keep it for when they were in a forest, because that would have been very hard to block. Anyways, we're going to, let's see, do I play this now? Well, yes, that isn't what I'm playing, and it's all my mana, so I just have no choice but to play it. So we're going to take our other slot here. We'll put this also on the companion slide to, you know, try to win over here. And, oh, interesting. Hold on. I could actually make 2 brass bugs here and try to block my opponent from moving. The main issue is if my opponent does have something to play here, which, you know, they would only need 2 desert with 2 mana to do it. They could just move here and then we'd be blocked here. But then again, they could also, but whereas if I pile drive this, they're less likely to do it, and we're likely to make it so that both of us move. You know what? We're gonna go big here. We're gonna go big. I'm gonna do this, and we are going to actually do it over here. And yeah, I'm gonna try to do it here. I'm gonna go big. Maybe they just have like a bunch of 3-drops. I mean, they committed 4 of their 6 mana on the first turn. If they had a 1 or a 2-drop, why not play it? A little dangerous, of course, to assume that my opponent, you know, is playing it all smart-like. But hey, we're behind. When you're behind, you gotta take risks. And if they do play a card here, what are they doing? Ah, okay. This is okay. So they basically move in one spot, and then they don't move in the other. Like, they could get rid of this and move, you know, that would be stupid. Getting rid of this would be dumb because then they would move here and I would move here. So they're going to get rid of one of these, which means that they move here and we're stagnated here. Then in the next turn, we both, in the next turn, they're not first, so they wouldn't have this token. Oh, God. Oh, no, they did it. Sometimes people misclick and screw things up. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to use the support ability. We're going to reactivate these to get the Keelon counters back. And then we are going to pass. Okay, so my opponent is now 3 steps ahead, but you see they're down to 2 cards, and they don't have any systemic advantages other than this token every other turn. And that's kind of how you have to try to go for it with this faction. Is you have to, you know, get behind a bit. Bravos is the fast faction. This often happens with them. They go down on card advantage, but then, and they don't have any systemic effects, but they're just really close to winning, so if they can get one last push, they're good. Put a card from your hand in reserve. I could put Amelia Earhart in reserve. That would mean this needs to... okay, so this is expensive. It's fleeting. I could get rid of, like, Sun Wukong... Say that big 3-drop, but the problem is one of their really scary cards is this 5-drop that adds 3/3/3 in both lanes, and this unfortunately is only 4 or less, so I don't want to do that. We'll just pass this, and so my hope is I can just deal with that if they get it. You know, I do have these brass bugs. This is just making a brass bug every single turn, so I'm getting basically 2 brass bugs every turn plus my cards in hand. And so I'm hoping if my opponent does spend 5 mana to just put 3 in both lanes, it's not really the end of the world for me. And plus that would commit most of their mana, and then I could, you know, react accordingly, hopefully. Like, this would beat it in one lane, the brass bugs can beat it in the other. That is the scariest thing that I know of or can think of in this deck. Okay, so they're down to 3 cards. Okay, we are definitely going to be paying our energy to do the brass bugs, and I'm just going to keep it kind of stupid. We are going to just make a brass bug in both lanes to contest them both right away. Now, I think I'm going to actually do this. I don't want to play her, so we're going to... I mean, I could play her and then play this and put nothing into reserve. The issue is if I actually play both of these, then they both go into reserve at the end of the turn and our reserve fills up. So, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, put Amelia into the reserve, and now I can play both Amelia and this thing this turn if I need to, and then I won't fill up my reserve. It'll just be this in the reserve. So my hope is that with both of these cards, I can actually move twice this turn while my opponent doesn't move at all. Then next turn, they're going to have their token, and I'll just have to deal with it. Okay, so we've got an interesting situation here. They have a 4/4 where they need to move, but only a 2 to block me from moving, so it should be easier for me to move. But on the other hand, of course, they're moving as well. So what I guess I'm going to do is put Amelia here. It keeps most of my mana in my hand. I am playing face up. My opponent knows I have this, and I actually have the 2 landmarks for it. But, yeah, it was just a matter of what they can do right now. They're going to use 3 of their mana. They're really trying. They're trying to win this lane. And I think the most logical thing for me is just to fight it. Even if they have the rat, all they can do is time me to... Oh, no, they can't. I got the boost from these. So, yeah, a rat would not do anything here, so they're going to pass. It's hard to evaluate how that ended up. So now I'm only one step behind. However, they have 2 cards in reserve, both of which are pretty high statted. This one is gigantic. Oh, that's it. This is the one that I should have kept that removal card for. Oh, I messed up. I should have kept it. And now I got a bunch of garbage. You know, I guess I'm not going to even do mana. I think I need to play as much as I possibly can, because they're going to be dropping some big fattos. Yep, I messed up. I should have kept... Well, if I'd kept the... I mean, I played everything from my hand, so I would have not had a creature if I had kept that removal spell. But I forgot about this card. This card is definitely a good one to target, especially after they pay 4 mana to get the giant version. It's a 4/6/4. So, it's bad. It is bad. Well, we'll do what we normally do. We'll put a brass bug on both sides. We just have a very weak hand here. Just not many stats. So I can play everything with 4 mana and still have mana left over. It is quite unfortunate. And they're playing Sabotage. Oh dear, that's terrible. That is really bad because I desperately needed that. Okay, well now I lose. It is over. This game has ended. There's just absolutely nothing I can do to try to catch back up here because my opponent never ran out of steam, or at least never ran out of enough steam, or maybe I didn't generate enough steam myself. Perhaps I should have tried to keep bigger cards in hand for these later turns, but unfortunately the fact that I drew 2 1-drops and then my opponent slashed away from my reserve means I'm toast. Now they've got plenty of mana, even just playing face up, they have more than enough stats to advance this round, and I mean it's not over, they're going to be next to each other, but I'm not going to move at all this turn, most likely, and that means that even if I hold them off, it's just going to be, well, the same thing next turn. They just need to move anything, and then it's over. So let's see what they want to do. They're playing from hand, which is interesting. So this is, you may send target character to reserve. I am really unconcerned about this. This is a card I saw in Ysmir, so I guess there are cards that can appear in different factions, like in deck building. You can only put cards into your deck that are from your faction, but this card just has the Bravos faction symbol, whereas the card also is in the Ysmir deck. Very interesting. Okay, so the question is, do I want to play anything else? Oh, and the answer is, well, yes. Yes, I absolutely do. Let's play this cheap thing here. And now we actually each move. I wonder why my opponent did this. Oh, because they couldn't have played something in both lanes. All right, I guess I'm going to call that a victory, all things considered. So my opponent just absolutely wrecked me, but now they fell for the trap. They filled up their reserve. They're going to have to throw 2 cards away. I am not wasting my reserve. I've still got brass bugs. They are the second player next turn. Their hand is empty. They're only 1 mana ahead of me. I guess I skipped getting mana twice, but they must have skipped it once as well at some point. They should have used one of these cards just for card advantage purposes, so my opponent did slip up and kind of not take the uniqueness of this game into account when they did this. How do I okay, I still have 2 Keelan counters. This game might go so long that I actually use up both of these Keelan counters and then can play a new landmark in there and get another hero trigger. All right, we got a 1/1/2 for 1, which is great. I'm probably not going to use the reserve ability, but let's see what we get. We got this. Resupply. If you would resupply, instead reveal the top 2 cards of the deck, put 1 in reserve, and discard the other. Interesting. And then another one of these. Okay. So I got to really think about what I want to do here. This actually is good. Now resupplying is great. So I could throw away 1 Keelan counter and replace this. But do I want to keep this as well? I mean, I could play both of them. No. Both of them this turn doesn't make any sense. I don't want to replace this, which creates free brass bugs, with this, which you have to pay for your brass bug. This thing, I mean, it's sort of junky, but I don't see myself playing both. So we'll get rid of that for mana. And we're going to do this. And I'm hoping to get something good into resupply so I can actually play it and get some cards. Having a resupply every turn is kind of nifty because, you know, it's kind of like drawing an extra card, I guess, sort of. Okay, so my opponent kept a bunch of big fatties in their thing. So I'm still at risk for losing. I will just do the usual. We'll put a brass bug in both sides. And I have to go first here. So I think what I'm going to do is play the Foundry mechanic here because it's higher on water, and I need water to move here, forest to move here. I want to keep my cards as close to my chest as I can. See what my opponent wants to do. They did get mana. They have one card in hand, so if it's cheap and they want to like delay committing, at least they'll be playing face up and I'll know what they have. If they want to keep this close to hand, they're gonna have to spend a chunk of their mana. Okay, so they got, you know, Mr. Big O. So they need water or desert to move this, so I'm gonna have a hard time stopping it, but I could beat them on water because water is the low stat. Okay, it's time to do it. We're gonna play this. And I get to pick one of these to discard. What is this? Sabotage played from hand and Sabotage played from hand. Okay, 2/4/2, 2/4/2. All right, the only difference is the initial hand cost. This is a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to get a 2/4/2 for 3 no matter what. But that's fine. I mean, it's something. And I can play it this turn, and I get Brass Bug. So where do I put Brass Bug? Well, I'm going to just keep it stupid. We'll just go here. This threatens to move me here, and, you know, I could play this big desert thing here and actually stop him from moving here and move myself. Of course, my opponent does have 3 mana to go here. The forest would stop me from moving, and they have forest and lake. Oh, they chose to play from hand. Interesting. I don't know why they did that. It's fine, I guess, to keep this around. Okay, so the situation now is my opponent, I know, can't play anything, so I am playing face up. They've got 4 and 5 for their stuff. I could tie them at 4 and be below them on water, so I would not move myself if I moved here, and I would also not be stopping them from moving. Okay, well, that's dumb, so I guess we're just going to go here, because I definitely want to stop them from moving there, and I don't want to lose the game this turn, because if they move in both spots, then they win. So it's a little bit scary, because now, of course, my opponent will have the turn marker. They're going to get their token. If they move in any lane, they win. They do have these big beefcakes in their reserve. But yeah, I mean, we just got to hope for the best. It's not technically over. Okay. So we've got this, which has a supply ability, and this, which is... God, this sucks because it's basically just a worse version of this. At noon, resupply. This is also at noon. Oh, wait, no, this is not at noon resupply. This is just resupply one time. Oh, dear. Okay, so I do want to play both of these. What is this? 4, 7, 8. However, that doesn't take into account the fact that I'm going to put something into supply, and I might play that instead. So I could throw this away. Like, am I really going to play a 2/2/2 for 3? Then I have 9. I'm spending 4 of it, and then I could play anything big that I draw. Okay, I think we're going to get rid of this. It's a little bit risky, but we got to go big. I just don't think a 2/2/2 for 3 is going to change anything enough, considering how far behind I am. We're going to go ahead and put the Brass Bug here just to, you know, contest it. And see what they want to do, but I think that they can just dump all their garbage, these big stats, because I have no removal, unfortunately, because I threw away the 1 removal card I ever drew, and I just think I'm going to be able to beat them. This is 7 mana. They even could, you know, have something in hand that's 2 mana and tip over the edge. But, you know, we'll try. We'll do our best. So this is just, it doesn't even do anything. It's an at noon resupply. So I'm basically paying 4 mana for a Brass Bug. That's pretty stupid. Maybe I should have just kept the 3 thing at that point. Okay, well anyway, let's play this out. And we get a choice of 2 resupplies. Oh, right. I get a Brass Bug somewhere. Well, I mean, I have to stop them from moving. Because if they move in either spot, it's over. And they need water or desert. Luckily, desert is the weakness of this thing. Okay, so I'm going to put the Brass Bug here because... Oh, no, water. They're good on water. Shoot, I totally forgot about that. I probably should have done this. Anyways, so I still need to catch up to them on water to stop them from moving here. And, of course, this lane is wide open. So it's a little scary. Now, this would block it. This one thing... Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Oh my god, this is at noon resupply. I'm not getting a resupply out of it. I'm not getting a resupply. Oopsie. Oopsie poopsie. Okay, it's just over. I mean, yes, it's done. This is it. I thought I was going to get a resupply out of this, but this does not resupply at noon. This resupplies at noon, not when you play it. So it's just over. All right, good game. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe. We just got too many landmarks and not enough cards to play onto the board. So Mellow Pailu gets a win. Thanks, everybody. We'll let it happen. Oh, they move in both. Well, they actually move past each other, which is the ultimate defeat. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.